Joe Biden formally clinched the Democratic presidential nomination on Friday, setting him up for a bruising challenge to President Donald Trump that will play out against the unprecedented backdrop of a pandemic, economic collapse, and civil unrest. The former vice president has effectively been named his party's leader since his last challenger in the Democratic primary, Bernie Sanders, ended his campaign in April. Joining us now from Dallas, Texas to talk more is Carmina Barnett. Carmina, many people have questions right now about who Joe Biden will solicit to run alongside him. What are your thoughts?
That is the big question, Nietzsche. So many names have been put out into the atmosphere, but no real confirmations as of yet. We do expect it to be a person of color, but who? We just don't know. But as you mentioned, Joe Biden has clinched it. You need 1,991 delegates to be the official nominee. He now stands with 1,995, and that's still with about 8 states still to come and 3 U.S. territories. But of course, he's been locked down due to the pandemic, and we haven't seen a whole lot of Mr. Joe Biden traveling and things like that, but he's starting to get out more, even making his way there to Houston, Texas to visit with the family of George Floyd. So I'm sure we're going to be seeing a whole lot of Joe Biden, but yes, we've got to find out who's going to be the vice presidential candidate.
Yeah, he has started to venture out more, as you mentioned. He's still confined, because of all that is happening, and is not able to get out and communicate and chat and show his face to many people. There's also the conversation that was happening about the mail-in ballots and all of that. Do you think that this whole voting season, Carmina, has shifted in any kind of way? What do you think is going to be different in the midst of all that we've experienced this year?
I think everything is going to be different going forward. As you've seen over the past week, there have been so many that would go to vote and there were long lines, machines that weren't working, just countless problems. And then, of course, with the pandemic, you've now got the mail-in ballots elements, and they've got to verify that those are authentic. I mean, it's just a lot more, but we still don't want that to discourage people from voting. I mean, we have to make sure for those in your areas, whatever dates those are, that you're registered and you're voting, no matter what the challenge.
Do you feel that most people feel, do you feel that he has a good shot, a really good shot in the midst of all that has transpired? There's many conversations about President Donald Trump. Do you feel that Joe Biden has a good shot for this seat?
He's quoted as saying Friday, after finding out that he officially had the nomination, that this is a hard time in America's history. And so he knows that going in, he knows what he's up against. As you mentioned, we've got the highest level of unemployment that he's got to try to deal with. We've got the pandemic. We've got police brutality and the racism. He has a huge challenge up against him. So it's going to need a lot of wisdom in this time
Yeah.
to really make sure he can bring it home for the Democratic Party.
Yeah, he has spent several years, I'm sure, perfecting this environment, having been in the Senate for 36 years and serving as vice president. And so it'll be interesting to see how this election, how this voting season plans out. Thank you so much, Carmina, for joining us today.
Thank you, Nietzsche.